All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 3 of the Elite CFB Now podcast. I'm back here with Reese. We just want to go ahead and start off this episode. We're filming this on January 3rd, the day after the incident in Monday Night Football with Damar Hamlin. We just want to open with the fact that our thoughts and prayers are with Hamlin, his family, the University of Pittsburgh, and the Buffalo Bills organization and anyone else involved. It's a very unfortunate situation, and we're praying for him and his recovery.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just jump right into it, I guess.
Yeah, this is our first episode with no guests, so we're just going to be talking straight bowl season and straight national championship.
Let's start off with, there's some transfer portal news. We got Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina. He withdrew his name from the portal, which is pretty big for Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, a lot of people were ranking Grayson as the number one quarterback, I think, in the portal at the time. So that was big news for him. I heard some things like he was looking at maybe Auburn or Florida, but neither of those schools, I guess, ended up panning out. So Grayson is going to be back with Coastal Carolina, and he had a really good season. So we'll probably have another good season.
We have a great one. And then Florida State running back Trayshawn Ward entered the portal about an hour ago, actually. Yeah, and he had a great year. He ran for around 600 yards and had 7 touchdowns, which is a tough loss.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I feel like there haven't been too many major portal entries that we've been looking at, except for we got DJ is already committed to Oregon State, but this is sort of old news. So no recent last week news. And then there's some NFL draft entries as well, but nothing we didn't really expect. We've got Bryce Young, Will Anderson, and I think Jordan Battle all entered, and that's pretty expected. Jahmyr Gibbs as well. So that whole group of 4 guys for Alabama, and then no really unexpected entries in the NFL draft so far.
Yeah, so I guess we'll hop into the bowl games. We'll start off with the Cotton Bowl and just talk about how USC's defense is terrible.
Man, so I think that was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know. There have been so many crazy games in the past 3 or 4 days. It's been. I saw Aaron Murray tweeted that this has been the craziest bowl season ever.
Oh,
and I think I agree, because the amount of close games and 2 to 3 point wins was nuts. But yeah, I think ESPN gave USC a 99.8% chance to win that game at some point. And
so did I. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, so did I.
The
Heisman quarterback.
He had a great game though.
I don't even think he made a mistake, unless you count that safety as his fault. But I think that's kind of the coaches.
Yeah.
But holy cow, Tulane
had a great game.
Yeah, they had a great game. There was a targeting call where I think both the players. Did they even call? I don't think they called.
No, they
targeting.
didn't.
It was totally targeting in my humble opinion. But yeah, 2 guys just absolutely got knocked out, and I guess it wasn't targeting, but Tulane still ended up throwing a touchdown with, I don't even know, I think there were 8 seconds left when they scored, and then they took a 1-point lead, and USC had no chance.
I really thought Caleb Williams was going to lead a
the
8-second drive.
9-second
I'm gonna be honest,
legacy
I really
drive.
Thought, but
yeah,
he had a great game. He was 37 for 52.
Yeah,
around 500 passing yards and 5 touchdowns.
Very well.
Tyjae Spears had a great game as well.
Yeah, and then as well as Jerry Rice's son. He had a really good game. I think he had something around 160 or so yards with 2 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns, yeah.
Yeah, 2 or 3 touchdowns. So
really great game.
They will continue to be a good duo at USC.
Yeah. Their quarterback throw 10 passes max or something.
I don't even know, but he was slinging that thing at the end.
Oh yeah,
when it mattered most.
Definitely.
And I feel like if you took the over on every single bowl game so far, you'd be up a lot of money.
Oh, definitely. Maybe except NC State and Maryland, or Mississippi State and Illinois,
or Iowa and Kentucky, because Kentucky scored 0 points.
Yeah, those games were been some really good bowl games and some really boring ones, kind of LSU and Purdue.
Yeah, we got what was the final score? Like 63 to 7,
dude.
That's insane.
I mean,
LSU's gonna be scary next year.
Oh yeah,
they've got
definitely.
if Nussmeier stays, they've got Jaden Daniels returning. They've got most of their offense returning. I know they're losing a few defensive guys, but man, I think LSU might have a chance at beating Bama out the SEC West again and competing for another SEC championship.
They had 3 players throw a touchdown yesterday.
That is stupid.
It's so stupid.
That's so stupid. 63 to 7.
And like, I mean, you just gotta stop.
That's
playing,
embarrassing.
I feel like.
Honestly, yeah, you just call the game at that point. That's pretty.
I would just walk off the field.
Yeah, no, I'm not playing if I'm down that many points. Actually, I am, but still. Yeah, that was pretty stupid.
Awful.
What should we talk about next?
We'll go to the Cheez-It Bowl.
Oh, the big Cheez-It Bowl. Down in Orlando, Florida.
The cheesiest bowl game.
The cheesiest bowl game. Reese was there.
Let's go.
Go ahead and talk about that game day experience.
It was good, Got offered a couple beers, but
classic. Classic.
Had to decline it. It was fun. It was scary. Everyone underrated Oklahoma.
Yeah,
obviously.
James
kind of did.
James knew.
James Jaws did know. He almost predicted it.
That's close.
But I kind of underrated them a little bit because I knew they were missing their running back and a few other players. But Dylan Gabriel, they're very good with Dylan Gabriel.
They gave up a good shot, and I assume Dylan Gabriel is going to come back again next year. And they showed a fight against one of the teams that I think I predict to maybe make the playoffs next year. So that shows that they'll be solid, especially with they had a solid recruiting class.
They had a really good recruiting class.
And Brent Venables is setting them on the right path for sure.
Yeah, I expect Florida State to finish top 10. You got Jordan Travis returning. You got pretty much all your best players returning. Yeah. Except Jamie Robinson, he declared for the draft the other day. But Johnny Wilson had a stupid good game.
Very good.
8 receptions for 200 yards. At the game he dropped like a wide open pass. And
but after that, there was no
after that
back.
Yeah, and then right after that he makes a catch where he has to like jump and just fly across the air and catch it. And I'm like, you have to make it all difficult. But they won.
That was
definitely
Jordan Travis with 418 passing yards, 50 rushing yards. Definitely a future Heisman.
Finalist? He's definitely a contender next year, I would say. Yeah,
that was a fun game to watch as well.
Yeah, definitely one of the best ones.
Then we've got another fun game to watch, but it really shouldn't have happened. Kansas and Arkansas. Arkansas was leading by 15 with 2 minutes and I think it was like 2 minutes 38 seconds left. And I was playing basketball. I was at the park playing basketball, and then I look at my phone, it's tied. And then I look at my phone, single overtime. And then I decide to turn on the game, and then I start watching the game, and then it just goes back and forth until Kansas.
They took the ball out of Jalen Daniels' hands.
Yep, and it was just a throw out of the back of the end zone.
It was awful. It was terrible. It was
not a great throw.
One of the worst throws I've watched.
That was pretty unfortunate. He was pretty open too.
He was wide open. I think I could have made that throw.
That was 108 points scored in a game. How can you not think that's fun to watch? So
especially in a bowl game, I feel like.
Yeah, that was every minute of that I watched was definitely fun. Then we had Oregon come back against UNC. That was a fun one as well. I think what happened was I only watched the second half of that game, but Drake May wasn't too hot in the second half, but apparently he was on his stuff in the first half, and he had 200, 300 yards and 3 touchdowns with no interceptions. And then apparently, I don't know what happened, but it sounded like he fell apart. Bo Nix happened, yeah. Another future Heisman candidate. Man, I feel like that race is going to be insane.
We'll go over that. We'll go over that in a little bit.
But then we've got primetime Primetime's team.
Colorado. Let's talk about that. How do you think they'll look next year? Is Dion gonna have a winning season?
No, he's not even gonna. He's not.
I agree.
Mean,
I think they win 5 games max.
I think they win 4.
I was gonna say 4.
They have one of the toughest Pac-12 schedules.
Oh, definitely.
And
I mean, you start off with TCU, who is in the Natty right now.
Yeah, they're not winning that.
I think
I don't have their schedule off the top of my head, but
Colorado State,
they could beat Colorado State,
Arizona State.
They'll lose to I can't even.
They'll beat Stanford as well.
Colorado.
Yeah, so I think 3 of their wins will be Colorado State, Arizona State, and Stanford.
I think they toss up as ASU. I feel like they're going to be solid. Or no, I think they'll beat ASU.
They will.
Toss up is Arizona because Arizona is getting both Jordan Love and Bill Norton, big D-line transfers. Yeah. I know that.
Their quarterback's really nice. I don't remember his name.
And their quarterback has had a good season as well. Oregon State, they'll lose. USC, they'll lose. Yeah. UCLA, they'll lose.
Basically,
Oregon, they'll lose.
all the last games in their schedule, they're going to lose.
I think they win 4 games, and anyone who says they win more than that, I'd have to disagree. And it's when you go 1-11, you're not just gonna instantly go and win the same amount of games as like Florida.
Yeah. I feel like it's different with Tulane though. I mean, the American Conference, it's kind of weird because Tulane went from a 2-win team last year to winning the Cotton Bowl.
That's
true.
The
Pac-12 is going to be so competitive next year.
This schedule is just nuts.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not trying to doubt anyone at Colorado. I think they'll be very good in
the future,
2-3 years, especially if Dion stays. Yeah. But I also don't know if I see Dion staying more than 4 years.
Yeah, you just got to think of it realistically and not, overhype it.
I mean, he said it himself. I forgot exactly the quote, but you either get fired or you get hired. It's something like that. Mm-hmm. So you either get upgraded or you lose your job.
Yeah, so I guess that asks the question: how will Shedeur and Travis Hunter? How will they?
One of the stupidest things I've seen this entire little bowl season so far.
Exactly what you're gonna say.
Fox Sports, I think it was Fox Sports.
It was
made Shedeur Sanders their early Heisman favorite.
It's terrible. I will say this: he is good. He has a lot of talent, and he could be very good. But he hasn't played against D1 competition. He hasn't played against anyone good. So why put him, especially as the winner of the Heisman? I feel like
he's a 4-star prospect out of high school. He was I think he's 6'2". He's got what he needs.
Oh, definitely.
But he's been playing against competition that I don't even know.
He might do good against the USC defense.
Yeah, But when you've got guys like Caleb Williams returning, you've got
Michael Penix Jr.,
Bo Nix,
DJ. I think DJ. I can't even pronounce his last name. He's going to be good at He's going to be good at Oregon State. I mean,
and don't even talk about all the guys we're forgetting because I know we're forgetting a lot of guys.
Jerry Rice's son. I mean,
but when you've got guys like that returning on a team that they've already proved themselves in a good conference, and you've got Shedeur Sanders going from Jackson State to, I mean, I still think he's going to be good, but I don't think he's throwing up winning Heisman stats.
I'm gonna just go tell you guys right now: take the over on Caleb Williams everything when they play Colorado next year. Take the over on everything.
It's gonna be over under like 415 passing yards.
I would take it. He might throw for 600.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun to see how they do.
It'll be fun.
People are just like, you can't blow it that far out of proportion. I don't know. They'll be good, especially they were recruiting. I think they're like a top 20 class.
Yeah,
but that doesn't make you.
That doesn't make you,
or Alabama.
We'll see how it looks.
Ohio State in one season.
I mean, all the eyes are going to be on Colorado. I mean, I'm ready to see how Travis Hunter plays.
For sure.
Personally, I feel like it's a toss-up on how.
I think Travis Hunter's like one of the most talented people we've ever seen play football, but at the same time, he's playing against that competition for a year while everyone else has been in college. I don't know. I don't know about his ego. I think he's also not big enough yet because he's listed as like 165 still. and that won't get you very far in D1 football.
Maybe I'm a little salty.
He's gonna have to bulk up.
Oh yeah,
he's like one of the most raw, talented people I've ever.
Maybe I'm a little salty about the signing day massacre. The signing day massacre.
He threw both of our hats. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm a little salty about that. I can acknowledge he's good. I mean, I'm gonna acknowledge that, but
yeah,
it's kind of like Kevin Durant with the Thunder. I mean, you can't hate on him. He's a great player, but
he still
left. He still did that.
That's true.
Next one, we'll talk about the Orange Bowl a little bit.
Clemson
looked awful.
They did. That was the game that
terrible.
I picked Clemson to win that game too.
I know.
So
I
was kind of like a little shocked.
I didn't think Joe Milton.
I know
was going to be that. He has a cannon.
Last time we saw him play, he played like first year Josh Allen in the NFL, where he's just throwing it 70 yards, but
literally just
also
the flick of his wrist. He just goes like this.
Yeah, he goes boom, it goes 70 yards, but also when the first time we saw him play, he was throwing it 10 yards to the left of his receivers. This time he's throwing it 70 yards in his receivers' hands. Squirrel White, freshman, showed some talent. He showed some promise. He looked really good. Joe Milton looked like he's going to be a serious problem next year.
19 for 28, 250 passing yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Whoa.
And Cade Klubnik with 320
passing yards,
but 2 interceptions.
4 attempts is insane.
Kind of a weird game, honestly.
It was a weird game because I felt like Clemson was a lot closer than they ever actually were.
Mm-hmm.
And with the 2 picks were both not good picks.
Oh, definitely. I mean, at one point he just threw it up. I mean,
yeah,
it was awful.
He did not play his best game. I still think I have trust in Klubnik. I like Klubnik. I think, but at the same time, he had a really rough time in that game.
Do you think they'll win the ACC again next year?
I think it's FSU or Clemson, and if Klubnik keeps playing like he did in this game, it's going to be FSU. If Klubnik turns on all cylinders, I think they're going to be a very good team. So I think it's a toss-up between them two.
Yeah. And if you're Tennessee, do you go with a Joe Milton next year?
100%. I don't care what anyone says. Nico is going to be a freshman. He can sit the bench for 1 year. I don't care if you're paying him $16 million to be there. He can sit on the bench for a year, get some reps when they're up 50-0 to Vanderbilt or whatever.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Vanderbilt.
He's a raw talent, Nico.
Yeah, Nico's very good as well. And
I feel like after watching Joe Milton in the Orange Bowl, I feel like you got it wrong with him.
You can't unless he does something insanely horrible.
I mean, if he throws 3 picks in the first game next year, take him out.
You can
Nico.
Try it, but if anyone's doubting Joe Milton, I think you're crazy because he looked the best he's ever looked in this game.
It's the same thing with Texas as well. Do you go Quinn Ewers or Arch Manning?
That's the thing that's a little different, though. I think
I feel like this one's more tough than Tennessee.
Because you're going to feel a lot more pressure to start Arch Manning in here because I feel like he's a bigger name than Nico. Even though Nico's like just as good, if not better, he's a bigger name than him. So you might have more national media attention surrounding starting Arch. But once again, I feel like it's a little different though because Quinn had he had a rough patch for those last few games.
He had a good.
They had a loss in the bowl game.
He bowl game though.
He did well.
His receivers sold him
there.
His receivers.
Yeah, no.
They're terrible.
His receivers sold definitely.
Quinn Ewers had some bad games this year.
He had some bad games.
Really bad.
So I think that'll be more of a close you maybe try one. I don't know. You try them both in spring and they'll have to compete. I think that's more of a toss-up.
Yeah.
Joe Milton will be the starter for Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I trust Quinn Ewers throughout the whole year.
I don't get
because of how he did this year, especially that TCU game. I think he didn't complete it. He was wasn't he 0 for 10 in the first half?
It was something.
It was awful. But no, we'll see what happens. That'll be tough.
That'll be interesting to see because once again, I feel like the media pressure is gonna be nuts on that.
Okay. And I guess we'll go to the Heisman race for next year, which will be a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
Shedeur Sanders won't be there.
With all due respect,
I like him.
He could be there.
He could. Not number 1.
everything hits perfectly, but I don't think he's going to win it all. I
Let's
think
go ahead.
You've got guys like Caleb Williams to start off. He won. He's going to be up there no matter what.
Yeah, I feel like he should be the front runner. His receivers are returning.
I think he's a front runner because even in their loss, he
legit had one of the best games.
One of the best.
He's one of the best quarterbacks that I've watched, honestly.
I agree.
His talent is. If I'm I'm a Giants fan. I would tank next year. I don't even care.
I'm a Falcons fan, and I'm doing the same thing.
I
think we try Ritter this year, and if he doesn't pan out, we're tanking for
you might go 0-17 with Ritter, honestly.
Dang. But then you got Penix, May, Jordan Travis, and obviously I'm a little biased here because I am a Georgia fan. But if Carson Beck or Gunnar Stockton or Brock Vandagriff, whoever it is, if they're doing well, the Georgia receiving / tight end core next year is disgusting. Like
my guy Pierce Sperlin.
It's so scary. We got. I can list everyone and be biased, but we got Georgia got two of the top wide receiver transfers. Rara Thomas and Dominic Lovett. Lad McConkey is going to be back. A.D. Mitchell is going to be back. Brock Bowers is going to be back.
Oh, is he actually?
Yeah.
That's nasty.
He is a sophomore this season.
Oh, my God.
Oscar Delp is a freshman. He's going to be back. He's a tight end. And then Marcus Rosemy is going to be back. He's a receiver. We've got Arian Smith, the guy who absolutely cooked in the Peach Bowl, is going to be back. If there's a quarterback that plays all season at Georgia and has a good season, I expect them to be in the Heisman.
What if I show up on the field? I would obviously.
Then you would obviously win the Heisman.
Yeah, I mean, I think my pick for Heisman. I'm gonna go with Caleb Williams. I could say Jordan Travis. I don't want to be biased. My biased pick is obviously Jordan Travis, who I think honestly does have a great chance.
I honestly think Caleb Williams could win it back to back.
Yeah, no, I would pick Jordan Travis, but Caleb Williams should go back to back realistically. The 4,000 passing yards, 37 passing touchdowns, only 37 passing touchdowns to 4 interceptions is kind of crazy.
That is.
I feel like especially for college.
Bizarre.
And then 10 rushing touchdowns as well.
Especially with how many throws they have him throwing that are pressured throws.
Oh yeah, no, he's like the top quarterback under pressure.
If he stays healthy, I think he wins it back to back.
Even
that's just a super ultra early prediction.
Yeah.
This season hasn't even over yet, but that's the Elite CFB Now early prediction. It's kind of a lame one because we're picking the winner.
He's the best player in college football. I mean, it's the safe pick. I mean, I could say Bo Nix. Bo Nix is a close second, honestly.
I'm up there with Bo Nix as well.
You could also say guys like Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that real quick. That hit. I know you're a little biased. Let's try to stray away from the bias.
I'm a little biased.
I would be a little biased too because I like Georgia as well. But going all my bias away.
Let's combine this topic with the TCU hit and the Georgia.
Yeah, we already went over the USC Tulane one. That one, USC Tulane was clear targeting.
Clear targeting. They both got knocked out, and it was clear helmet to helmet.
TCU Michigan, that was targeting.
I think that was targeting too.
Easy.
Difference I see I am biased. The difference I see, this is gonna be a TikTok clip. I'm just ready. I just know.
Let's talk about it.
The difference I see in the Marvin Harrison Jr. target or quote unquote targeting and the TCU targeting is that when you watch both clips, I feel like from what I see, the TCU clip, I see the helmet hit first, and when you slow it down in the Georgia hit, I see his shoulder hit first.
He went in with the shoulder.
And I never really see helmet to helmet contact, but on the TCU hit, I see clear helmet to helmet contact, and that's the rule. Is
but people make the argument, they're like, oh, the Georgia guy didn't even look for the ball, but I mean, he's running full speed. I'm like, you don't want to like.
As a fan in those stands, I thought it was a touchdown because he was sitting there the most open I've ever seen anyone on the field in the end zone. And then I see Bullard come over and I didn't even see the hit. And
I mean, like I get you can make the argument that he wasn't even looking for the ball before he hit him, but like you can't. I mean, he's just going to tackle him. You can't let up a free touchdown like that.
I really thought it was a touchdown.
I thought he died. I thought Marvin Harrison Jr. was dead after that hit. He was just on the ground. It was loud. I was watching it on TV. I
could not tell. I looked away because I thought they scored.
Yeah.
And then they didn't, and he was down, and that was unfortunate. And there's also the argument there that, if Marvin Harrison Jr. is there the rest of the game, does Ohio State, does that change the impact? I say yes. I think it does.
Marvin doesn't Harrison take away Jr., the missed field goal.
He didn't have a single reception in the second or third quarter. He was out of the third quarter with about 50 seconds left, I think. And that changes the impact. But then it goes both ways. Nolan Smith has been out for Georgia all season. They lost edge rusher Chaz Chambliss. We were on a freshman edge rusher.
Didn't have Darnell Washington.
Didn't have Darnell Washington.
Pretty much the whole game, really.
Had an ankle contusion or something. And I mean, that's just football. And
it's always the what ifs,
It's always the what ifs, yeah. And
that's just how that happens.
That is how that happens.
It's the same thing with Michigan TCU. If Michigan had Blake Corum,
who knows?
That'd have been different. If they called that a touchdown on the first for Michigan.
Let's talk about that.
That was a touchdown.
I think that was a touchdown.
Clear as day.
I mean, anyone that saw that was a touchdown.
Possession starts when he's catches
going
the ball.
Boom, boom, boom.
He catches the ball.
Then he lands in the end zone. Then he has the ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's a touchdown. That was so
it's
stupid.
Also, what if they never fumbled on the 1 yard line on first down?
What if JJ McCarthy never threw? What if he didn't throw at least one pick?
He threw two picks.
Yeah,
they were both pick sixes. And my dad and I, so we were at a hotel before. We were at the Ohio State hotel watching that game. So that was fun. First off, because whenever TC does anything, the Michigan fans or the Ohio State fans are cheering. But my dad said, let's give it 5 plays before we head over to the stadium. And it was one play was the touchdown. It wasn't called a touchdown, down on the 1 yard line. Then the next was the fumble on the goal line. Then I think the next play TCU scored. And then the next play, JJ McCarthy throws a pick six. It was like within 5 plays, there were like 3 touchdowns or something. It was also that was the craziest game.
All Michigan had to do was tackle Quentin Johnston. And I think if they tackled Quentin Johnston, they might have won because they were down 5 at that before he scored that touchdown.
Yeah.
And then I think it was 3rd down on that play too.
Yeah, that was the play you're talking about where they throw it to him on the sideline. You're like, oh, they're gonna get a first down, and then there's no one there the rest of the field. There's just not a Michigan player. And
if he got a first down, that's fine, But Jim Harbaugh had a really good. Was it Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah.
He had a really good play. TCU was just lined up for a regular kickoff. And he makes Michigan line up for an onside kick and forces Sonny Dykes to call his last timeout, which was really smart. And then same thing with Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart had a really good timeout as well, which was really
that timeout.
That really
unfortunate with that is if you look back at the game, there's 12 Ohio State players on the field, and the refs definitely weren't going to call it because the play had sort of like they were blowing the whistle as it was snapped. So I don't think they were calling that, but that is one of the greatest timeouts I've ever seen.
Definitely
watching football.
I feel like that changed the course of the game.
I think that's where it all shifted. I agree.
So let's talk about that. Were those were definitely, we already talked about it, but those were definitely the best college football playoff games.
Oh yeah. In like almost every other one since the playoff era has been introduced, there's been one side has been a blowout. And this year there's a 7-point overall point differential, and that just doesn't happen. That was awesome.
Yeah, and both games came down to the final drives. Last few final drives.
Yep. We had the maybe targeting, you'll never know, but
and then the missed
50-yard field goal at midnight.
That was crazy. At midnight. I didn't even realize that.
He was literally kicking it. Like, I think it went up in the air 3 seconds after it hit midnight. So poor Noah Ruggles. I feel so bad for him because he's had such a good season this season, and then seeing the comments that people post on his account from literally, I've seen multiple fan bases comment on that, and it's like it sucks.
It's like you can't really blame him.
Really feel bad for him. You can't blame the.
You can blame other guy. You can blame You
gotta blame the team. I mean, they had a lot of opportunities.
You can blame the receivers for not getting open as much in the fourth quarter. You could blame the offensive line. You could blame the defense, which I feel like that's what the blame should really be.
Touchdown in one play with 8 minutes left.
I mean, Arian Smith torched 2 guys. I mean, wide open for a touchdown. And then A.D. Mitchell, who he didn't catch a pass. He hasn't caught a he hasn't caught a pass or a touchdown since week 2.
Week 2, he's been out. Yeah. He played a lot of the SEC championship. He played a lot of snaps. He didn't get a single target, I don't think.
It made the biggest catch of the night. So I mean, I feel like you blame the defense.
And with that, A.D. Mitchell has had a receiving touchdown in every playoff game that he's played in. So he has 3 receiving touchdowns and 1 in each game.
Dang, I respect
and
it.
He's shown up for sure for Georgia.
I guess we'll talk about. Did you watch Penn State, Utah?
I watched the first quarter and a half, and then
the only thing I can really say about that is Utah's ceiling is the Rose Bowl. I don't think they'll get any better than that. But then I guess another one is that Penn State just has good running backs. I mean, they had a true freshman, and he was torching Utah's defense.
Yep, and
he was. That's all I saw, though.
Obviously, I didn't watch the entire game, but it seemed like Sean Clifford had a masterclass as well.
Sean Clifford legacy game.
I think that's literally what every Penn State game came down to this season was, does Sean Clifford have a good game? And I mean, obviously, I'm exaggerating that a little bit, but yeah, those were.
I didn't watch many Penn State games this year.
I watched a few, and I feel like they really could have beaten Ohio State if they didn't have those however many turnovers.
Yeah.
I felt like they were in that game for a while.
So the national championship.
Oh yeah.
Who would have thought?
Georgia
the Horned Frogs.
The Horned Frogs. In LA, we got 7:30 Eastern time, January 9th. 6 days from today. That's actually wild. It's already about to happen.
Insane game.
I think both teams probably fly out tomorrow, I would guess, because it's a 3-hour time difference. You got to get adjusted. It's going to be in LA at SoFi, which is a sweet stadium. We got 12.5-point favorites for Georgia, which honestly
might be a little lot.
I think that's a little too much.
I feel like a 5 to 7 would be
I like that
range
a lot more.
12.5.
That's about what it was for Michigan, and we saw how that ended up. So I really do think that TCU can win this game. I feel like they just have the will to win whatever game they play against whatever team they play.
Do they have enough gas left in the tank?
Yeah, we'll have to see if they can keep it up. They've got Kendre Miller questionable, and that'll be definitely a big piece. I think he's rushed for I don't know the exact number.
He was a big part.
It's a lot. He's rushed for a lot
Michigan,
of yards,
if I remember.
And he had a good game against Michigan as well. And then Darnell Washington and Chaz Chambliss are both questionable for that game. Darnell had I think ankle contusion, and Chaz had a hyperextended knee. So we'll see if they're good to go. Other than that, sounds like it's a pretty healthy game. So we'll see.
They had a 200-1 odds entering the season to make the Natty.
So if you, you'd be.
I don't even know if anyone bet on them.
I'm sure there's some rich TCU fan that put a bet, but
some guy put a bet for like $10 to win $200K. I mean,
something stupid like
something stupid, but.
All right, I'll let you do your prediction first.
For the Natty, I'm gonna go Georgia. I think it's gonna be another high-scoring game. I think it'll be close. I'm trying to think of a reasonable score here. I'll just say it's be 50-something. Dogs win by 50-something. Dogs win by. Let's just say 54-51. Dogs win. Game-winning field goal.
I don't think that many points are scored. I do
Really?
think it's gonna be that sort of game though. I think it's gonna be close. I don't think both teams are gonna score on like every drive though. I think it's gonna be a clean like 37-31 Georgia. I think they're gonna win but not cover.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Back-to-back national championships.
Yeah, I'm gonna change mine. 50-50 sounds stupid. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say 35-42 Georgia.
35-42. Okay.
Yeah, Georgia wins by a touchdown.
Yeah, I think it's gonna hopefully TCU's receivers for them can hold on to the ball, because that's the only reason Max Duggan had 2 interceptions against Michigan, because they were both great passes, 10-15 yard gains, and they just pop out of the receiver's chest.
Calling it right now. I'm gonna call this right now. I want y'all to post this after it happens. Last drive of the game. You're gonna hate what I'm about to say. You're gonna love it, but you might hate it. Right. Max Duggan, final drive of the play. They're on. Let's say they're on the 15-yard line. Throw a pass to the end zone. Kelee Ringo interception. Seal the game.
I like it. I mean, I think Kelee Ringo is,
unless he gets torched again.
He's a deep ball hawk. So I think his coverage, and you can't even blame any of the corners for Ohio State, for Georgia, honestly, because when CJ Stroud plays the game of his life and has 8 seconds to throw the ball, you can't guard. I saw someone say Marvin Harrison ran about 8 different routes on one play and then scored. So I don't even think you can blame the corners on that game.
Especially when those guys are just that good.
I would a back-to-back Kelee Ringo ceiling interception, natty to natty. That would be insane. That'd go down.
That could definitely make him get drafted to the Falcons, probably.
Yeah, we could see him be a top 10 pick for sure. So
definitely.
I think that about does it for this episode. We're gonna be having a few big guests we got scheduled again, so make sure to drop
for that.
Subscription. Turn on that notification bell so you know whenever we upload, and follow our Spotify as well. We'll have all the links in the description. We hope you enjoy. Let us know if you want more guestless podcasts, or if you want more guests, and if you have any guest requests, comment them below as well. We appreciate you listening to the 3rd episode of the Elite CFB Now podcast.
See you guys in the next one.